a couple of weeks ago, was it last week or the week before?
Week.
Last week. Myself and yourself picked our Manchester United Premier League era top 10 players. So this wasn't a starting 11, this was just our top 10 players in any position, in order, by the way, from when football started in 1992. And we got a little bit of criticism for our teams. Certainly Paul Scholes at number one for me led to a little bit of criticism. We've gone for the Liverpool teams, and the three of us have picked our Liverpool. I haven't seen either of your teams, so I don't know how similar or dissimilar our teams are going to be. Who wants to put their hand up first here?
Go on, Shane. You're the host.
Here, right.
Why
do I have to start?
Take it down.
Okay, there's my team in front of you. So I've gone for, just for the people listening this morning as opposed to viewing, Fernando Torres at 10.
You've gone for Steven Gerrard twice.
No, sorry, that's that graph.
It's so good. They put him in twice.
I have the picks I sent on right in front of me here. So that's clearly not the team.
Have you gone for Steven Gerrard number one?
Steve McManaman is number 9. Number 8. I don't know if the rest of the numbers are affected. I don't think they are. Number 8, Virgil van Dijk. Number 7, Sami Hyypiä. Number 6, Luis Suarez. Number 5, Mo Salah. 4, Xabi Alonso. And then the top 3 Michael Owen, 2 Robbie Fowler, and 1 Stephen G.
Let's do the other 2 now, and then we'll go back at them.
Go on.
So I'll go there. All right. So mine, for those who can't see, number 10, Alisson Becker. Number 9, Sami Hyypiä. Number 8, Sadio Mane, injured last night, didn't play. Number 7, Virgil van Dijk. And then 6, 2, 3 for me was very difficult. So 6, Michael Owen. 5, Fernando Torres. 4, Robbie Fowler. 3, Mo Salah. 2, Luis Suarez. And number 1, Stevie G.
Okay. No arguments there so far. Nathan, you're 10.
Yeah, I have gone with 10 Xabi Alonso, 9 was Alisson, 8 Sadio Mane, 7 Jamie Carragher, 6 Jordan Henderson, 5 Robbie Fowler, 4 Virgil van Dijk, 3 Mo Salah, 2 Steven Gerrard. I've gone with Luis Suarez as my number 1.
Suarez is there for 3.5 years only. That's the impact that guy had. 2013-14.
I think this is a different one to the Manchester United one, because on Manchester United you're generally able to judge on a similar level in that they've almost all of them have won titles. Now maybe what they did in Europe should bring them to a higher level, whereas for Liverpool there's players with great longevity who maybe didn't win what they felt they should deserve to win, but I guess in both Gerrard and Carragher's case they still won a hell of a lot of everything except the Premier League title. Luis Suarez as number 1, I understand the argument for Gerrard, and like it's a strong argument for Gerrard in terms of his brilliance, his longevity, the fact that, which I always find interesting, if you talk to the players of the Kenny Dalglish era, almost all of them will say Steven Gerrard was Liverpool's greatest ever player, which I often find quite surprising. I never had a great love for Gerrard. He was obviously one of the greatest players for big moments. Like, he relished the biggest moments, like the goal in the 2006 FA Cup final. The more you watch it, it's one of the most insane goals you'll ever see. It's about nearly 40 yards out.
Purely because
the
he was
last
knackered.
Kick of the game.
He was exhausted, and he just his technique helped him out.
It's an insane quality.
How can you have Suarez above Gerrard?
Because Suarez, so I've been covering the Premier League for probably 15, 16 years, and that season Suarez had where Liverpool went very close to the title is probably the best individual season I've seen since then, in how he elevated a side. The two that stand out are him and Gareth Bale in those couple of years. They were simply unplayable. That was a I would say a decent Liverpool team that he brought towards greatness, and you knew every week he was going to do it. I think in talent alone, that season was
Gerrard
one of the great. Did he though? Like Liverpool's greatest, and here now you end up in a hammering Steven Gerrard type scenario.
Tell us
Liverpool's best in Liverpool's best seasons when Gerrard was there, generally somebody else was the best player on the team. Whether it was Suarez that season, Fernando Torres, the influence of Xabi Alonso when they got to the Champions League final. There's no doubt. Listen, Gerrard is number 2 on the list here. I just always find it very hard when I think of Liverpool in the Premier League not to go with Suarez, because he was just unplayable. He got to a level in the Premier League that season that few players of any club have got to individually.
That's Jordan Henderson is in there, Nathan.
Well, anyone who doesn't have Jordan Henderson on this list has a complete lack of understanding of football and importance to football.
We're not all
so
football
it
men.
would be insane not to put Roy Keane on the Manchester United list. Like, Jordan Henderson has been as important for Liverpool as Roy Keane has been for Manchester United.
Nah.
No, he absolutely has been. There's a definite argument as to their greatness as a player, and if you're doing an all-time Premier League list, Roy Keane is well ahead of Jordan Henderson. You just have to look at the record of Jordan Henderson. There was a spell of 4 years where Henderson was playing midfield, Liverpool lost 3 games. When he's not there, you even saw him, look at him Monday night when he's back in the team. The legs are obviously going, he can't do it as consistently as he could. His leadership, his drive, and his quality. Like this comment that, Alex Ferguson made at one stage about him not being able to run properly. These things have hung over him. He's the most underestimated player there has been of the last decade, by far. He is as pivotal as anybody to Liverpool's success. Now, he needed great players around him. Was he the greatest player in the middle of them? He had Salah, he had Van Dijk, he had Alisson, he had 2 unbelievable fullbacks, he had Sadio Mane. But he was the glue in the middle of it all. And it's his decline. He is the one that is going to be most difficult to replace for Liverpool.
Who have you left out though?
Everything Jurgen Klopp tried to do was built around him. That gegenpress, that go, as John Giles describes it, was built on Jordan Henderson being able to cover that ground. And in every big game, when you think back to the matches against Manchester City, Chelsea, Manchester United, he was almost always one of the best players on the pitch. So I would have no qualms whatsoever about putting Jordan Henderson in there. In fact, I was even considering putting him a bit higher.
He was 14th in my list. I think Jurgen Klopp is the making of him. I think
top 10,
the only thing that that Henderson suffers from is that he had a slow enough start to his career at Liverpool when Kenny Dalglish signed him, and then he was unfortunately constantly compared to his then teammate Steven Gerrard. Yeah, and then when he was at Sunderland, he was this technically gifted midfielder, almost in a kind of number 10ish mould, and then got deeper and deeper. The higher he went in the levels, there was players around him that were better. And then it was when Gerrard left and someone had to stand up, and then Klopp coming in pretty much at that exact time after Rodgers.
One of the key reasons Liverpool didn't win the league in 2014 was Jordan Henderson getting sent off against Manchester City and being suspended for the final 3 games of the season.
And there was a better version of Henderson that came after that.
Oh, it was.
That's what I'm saying.
But even then, so it wasn't just when Gerrard left.
But you don't have Michael Owen in your team, Nathan.
No, and
sorry, your top 10.
Is it a recency bias when, like, McManaman's brilliance? So many people would feel of that era he was one of the most talented English footballers around. And Michael Owen obviously burst onto the scene, is a Golden Boot winner at 18. I just struggle to find in terms of his actual impact.
Is it because he joined United?
No,
It was such a long time afterwards.
It was a long time afterwards.
Two clubs.
There's definitely, he would admit himself, like, Michael Owen, when we talk in terms of love of Liverpool supporters,
his legacy,
he doesn't have that because he went to Manchester United. And Steve McManaman loses a bit of that as well because of the way he ended up leaving the club. Why would you have him 3 above Mo Salah?
Why not? Why not above Mo Salah? You don't have Xabi Alonso there, Colin.
Well, hold on, no, Michael Owen, right, first of all, right?
Defend it.
I do want to hear it because I had him really high and I really struggled with
Where did you have him?
I put him middle of the list, but I had tempted. Where did I put him?
You had him sixth.
So I was going to put him about 4, right? Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah,
right.
Fact.
And also from 1997 to 99, he did his hamstring against Leeds at Ellen Road, and that was pretty much the beginning of the end because he kind of overplayed at that age. But remember when he came on against Wimbledon at Sellers Park? Kenny Cunningham played in that game, and I had never seen raw pace like it, with the arguable exception of Brazilian Ronaldo. I had never seen such pace and direct play. And there was the game at St James's Park against Newcastle when he absolutely skint the defenders, put it in. He had that strange kind of outside the right chip dink finish into the far corner. For those 2 years in particular, and then the 2 years afterwards, from about 99 to 01, he was a lesser version of himself. But there was that famous game against Arsenal in the FA Cup to win the final in Cardiff. Blistering pace, incredible finishing, and basically impossible to stop. And really what was the end of one was himself with the hamstrings. Other than that, you're talking about a potentially multiple Ballon d'Or winning striker. He had everything you wanted as a centre forward.
I can't believe you've left him out.
Oh no, I think if Michael Owen had stayed fully fit, like, you're potentially talking about one of Liverpool's greatest ever players, and there's no way he would have ever gone near Manchester United because they would never would have let him go. It just felt at that time there was a real inconsistency to Liverpool. I think all of these players had a big impact in rising the team above their level, and in 2001 when they won 5 trophies, he was a big part of that, and he was thereabouts. I was definitely undecided about sort of 8, 9, 10, and even with Xabi Alonso, there's a beauty to Xabi Alonso of you just want him there, but actually
there is, Colin.
Is very tempted.
Is because of that beauty is he overstated.
You had Alonso.
I had him as 10th, but I was tempted to drop him. Only I'd sent it in already. I don't think he's a top 4 player. I think he was a beautiful footballer. There's no doubt about that. And would Liverpool have won the Champions League final in 2005 without him coming in and sort of freeing maybe Steven Gerrard? Probably not. But I don't know if he just did it consistently enough.
I thought you'd be a Xabi Alonso man.
Love Xabi Alonso, absolutely my type of player. But the one argument against him for me was that I think he got better when he left Liverpool with Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. I think he became an even better player. And I'm trying to pick players here that absolutely peaked at Liverpool.
Did you both have Torres in?
Yes.
No, I didn't have Fernando
did you not
Torres.
Torres?
No, I think Torres burned brightly. I think he was I was going to say a scorer of great goals rather than a great goal scorer. He struggled for consistency at times, blew very hot and cold, and didn't, in the way that Salah at his best, almost like Salah this year, he struggled to impact on games if he wasn't scoring. There would be a lot of matches where, one of the famous games where he scored twice against Chelsea in injury time, and games like that where he wouldn't do very much, and then out of nothing, he's got himself a couple of goals. He was devastatingly brilliant in periods, but I think if you're looking back over the last 30 years, is he a top 10? Like, it's a remarkable thing the way Liverpool have consistently had gone from Robbie Fowler through to Michael Owen, little gap, and then you have Torres, Suarez, Salah.
This was tougher than the United one, wasn't it?
100% tougher. Liverpool have the collection of the best forwards in Premier League history easily. Like, we haven't even touched on Sadio Mane yet. The one thing about Torres, I do think he suffers from the perception of him post-Liverpool. And I think people really do forget when he signed in 2007, that first season he scored 24 Premier League goals. And up until about 2009, do you remember just around the 2010 World Cup when he got injured? And I think his last great moment for Liverpool was, funnily enough, against Chelsea in that November that he moved to Chelsea in the January when he scored that great goal curled into the far corner. I think when you're talking about technically gifted strikers, Torres is way down the list. There's better players than him played for Liverpool. But I think he maximised the ability that he had and had a phenomenal partnership with Steven Gerrard.
Did you both have Hyypiä in?
Yes.
No.
I did. Anyway.
I think Sammy Hyypiä was a very, very good defender, but if we're talking top 10...
Carragher probably had him.
I
had Carragher and took Carragher out because I remember Carragher saying that Hyypiä was the better player than him. So I said, if Carragher says it, then he won't mind me taking him out of the top 10.
Yeah, we'll admit it. Let us know what you think in the comments. Yeah, what are your Liverpool top 10? I found that difficult. I have to say, more difficult than the United one.
I think because you are judging it, so you're having to put Carragher and Gerrard, Alonso up against players who've won Premier League titles.
Yeah.
There's definitely this Liverpool team have been by far and away Liverpool's best team of the Premier League generation. So, I was close to putting Trent in, to putting Andy Robertson in.
That would have been too much.
Yeah,
too much recency bias.
Well, I haven't seen a player like Trent Alexander-Arnold.
That's what I mean. Andy Robertson is Liverpool's...
I haven't seen a player
Liverpool's greatest ever 11 was sort of set in stone for a long time, whereas now, Alisson, Trent, Robertson, Van Dijk, Henderson, Salah, Mane are all probably pushing for it.
This generation, it's like the Irish rugby team. Just before we go to Martin Lipton and the ads, our own Dara Smith-Nocton, who's on Workplace and does at the moment an internship, he has also got involved.
Okay.
And I just want to highlight that he's included Pepe Reina in his list at number 10. Dara, come on.
No Alisson.
I mean, if you're going to pick a goalkeeper, pick the current goalkeeper.
I didn't pick Alisson. I didn't pick any
Pepe
goalkeeper.
Reina was a very likeable man, but...
Likeable man.
That helps him. It's like the opposite of Michael Owen,
Jersey Dudek. Throw him in. Robbie Keane, a few of the commenters were saying this morning. Let us know in the comments who else you would have included in your Liverpool. So it's top 10 players of the Premier League era, but you have to do it in order. Don't cop out. Put them 10 to 1 and let us know in the comments.